According to movies and comic books, every community has a group of outsiders that build and modifies machines to look and operate better, or at least different. Usually, this is accompanied by lots of neon lights, hardcore music, sci-fi tattoos, and some misunderstood geniuses that want to stick it to the man. The watch community is no different. We've got a large group of individuals that modifies watches to look like anything you can think of, and with one common denominator being Seiko cases and movements. These parts are easy to come by, cost-effective, high quality, and reasonably easy to build yourself. That said, if you're not wanting to get into the fiddly business of building one yourself, why not engage someone else to do it for you? There are plenty of great mod experts around to engage in building your perfect SKX-based dream. But what happens when an established microband joins forces with one of the best watch modders around? If you're ready to dive into the world of underground watch modification combined with a well-resourced microband with a ton of personality, then stick around. First Stage, the name which stems from the regulator in scuba diving, is the sister brand of Second Hour watches. You may know of them from such hits as the Giant Stride, the Mandala and the Gin Clear. Jack Hypoxia is a talented watch modder out of Thailand with a really fun presence on Instagram. And together they have created the Shoal Deep, which will hit Kickstarter in 2022. There are 3 models in the pipeline, a blacked out version and 2 steel versions with a light blue and green dial. I have the green dial to play with today, which is good since I would always go black or blue over green. It's good to have your old habits challenged. This is definitely a watch that is at home in the water. It has an impressive 300 meters water resistance, and there is no doubt that this is a dive watch when you handle and wear it. It belongs in or near water. That said, the dimensions are reasonably compact at 13.8mm high, 42.5mm wide, and only 46mm lug to lug. So it's not as massive as some dive watches can be, particularly with this sort of water resistance. This is a solid watch that is made to be worn no matter what you throw at it. Interestingly, since this is all very Seiko inspired, we have a Miyota 9039 under the hood. I think by far the most eye-catching part of this watch is what the name also refers to, Shoal Deep. Shoal meaning a large number of fish swimming all together. We certainly have a lot of fish swimming together on this dial. It's a detail that does not go unnoticed, even from a casual glance, and it's likely to be a conversation piece not just amongst us watch people, but the muggles as well. Whilst they seem to be modelled after sharks, I think I can see dolphins and even the odd orca in the shoal. From a distance, the dial just appears to be heavily textured, but a close-up leaves no doubt on what you're looking at, and it holds up well, even in extreme close-ups. Either way, if you love the ocean and some of its coolest inhabitants, you'll like this one. I'll return to this pattern a bit later since it is replicated on the back. The dial has applied indices and simple but legible and precisely diamond cut hands. In addition to the logo and brand name just under 12, which I think is quite nicely done, there's the watch name and automatic just above 6. The decision to keep the print to a minimum makes sense here, since the dial has enough going on and the typeface choices are unobtrusive and restrained. I really feel a date complication would be a step too far, so I'm glad there isn't one. Keeping the double-domed sapphire crystal in place is a, to my eyes at least, very attractive custom bezel. In fact, it's weirdly my favourite detail on this watch. It's a ceramic bezel with a brushed matte finish and fantastic loom that we'll have a look at shortly. This bezel can be had with both a 12-hour bezel or dive time, so you can use it as a basic GMT watch, or I think perhaps more in line with this concept, the standard dive time bezel. We have a red line detail on the 0 to 15 and a white line through the rest of the numbers. I love this look, and I reckon the black watch would complement this bezel the best. The bezel slopes slightly towards what is described as a broad coin edge. When gripping this comfortable to use coin edge, the bezel turns effortlessly with just the right sort of feel to it. This bezel is perfection to me. At the 4 p.m. position, we find the screw down and signed crown with a matching, slightly spaced out broad tooth pattern to match the bezel. The prominent crown guards and the rest of the case is pure Seiko SKX design. It's familiar and attractive, and since this watch has passed through the hands of other reviewers than just me, we have the inevitable micro scratches that I feel are so attractive on this sort of surface. They are unavoidable, but also adds to the look, since a watch like this is made to be worn and used in all types of environments. A dive watch must have scars and signs of wear. To me, there are few things sadder than babied watches, since it indicates that they were not bought to use, but rather to be sold one day. I once sat next to an older gentleman on a plane with a Rolex Submariner that was heavily worn and clearly had years of use. I don't think his home had couches with plastic wrapped cushions. Respect, I say. One small criticism I would have loved to see drilled lugs to make it easier to swap straps and bracelets. Before we have a look at the back of the watch, let's check out this lovely bracelet. It's a beads of rice bracelet with solid end links. Easy to change screw links, and it just catches the light perfectly. Just look at this beauty. The milled steel clasp has 6 micro adjustments and a push button release. It's hefty, but very secure, and assuming you have human-sized hands and wrists, you should be able to find the perfect fit here with this level of adjustments. On the back, we have the usual spec sheet, pointing out the impressive water resistance of 300 meters, but nobody will care about that since the embossed shoal is all you'll pay attention to. It's a cool effect, but to be honest, it's less obvious what you're looking at than on the dial. But under the right light, it's attractive, almost like fossils stuck in a metal. Finally, the time has come to check out the Loom, and it does not disappoint. In use is genuine grade A Swiss BGW9 Superluminova on all elements, and whilst the dial shines, it is the bezel once again that really completes this picture. Well done, first stage team. This concept of a watch brand and a modder is interesting, particularly since Seiko themselves seems to be releasing one out there concept after another based on the Seiko 5. There's not much left for modders to do other than swapping out the mineral crystal for sapphire and make them look like whatever other watch brand you want but can't justify, for instance a Rolex. So releasing a truly unique design with a customized dial that you'd only be able to achieve with the contacts of an established watch brand both makes sense visually and hopefully for everyone involved here commercially. The sum of its parts is literally all better than the SKX that it was based on, and the final version here will still get you 2 years of warranty. The early bird pricing is reported to start at US $450, which is great value. Would I buy this for myself? Yes, but I'd get the black one. But that's just me, and my black, white and red obsession. After all, this is the guy that bought the Zin EZM5 at full retail and then stupidly sold it at a huge loss. Typical of this heartbreaking hobby. Whichever color you get, you can rest assured that you have something truly unique on your wrist. And did I mention sharks already? Sharks. There are sharks on your watch, and sharks are awesome. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.